Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The bad guys win. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Today, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1, 8-1, in favor of the vicious Westboro Baptist Church protesters who roam around the country screaming hatred at military funerals and other places.
God hates flags! God hates flag enablers! Therefore, God hates America and all of the U.S. military! America is doomed!
Now, these loons believe they're protesting because the United States does not persecute gay people. They believe God is punishing America, and these vile idiots are happy that our soldiers are coming home dead. Enter Albert Snyder, whose son Matthew, a Lance Corporal in the Marines, was killed in Iraq. Mr. Snyder sued the Westboro Church for intentional infliction of emotional distress and initially won $11 million from a jury. But judges overturned the verdict, even making Mr. Snyder pay court costs. And today, the Snyder family received the ultimate insult. The vicious Westboro crew won in the Supreme Court. Kind of shocking. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice John Roberts said, quote, "As a nation, we have chosen to protect even hurtful speech on public issues to ensure that we do not stifle public debate," unquote. Noble in theory. What about the rights of Mr. Snyder and his family to bury their son in peace? The lone dissenter was Justice Samuel Alito, who said, quote, "Our profound national commitment to free and open debate is not a license for the vicious verbal assault that occurred in this case." Talking Points believes Justice Alito is correct, and the Supreme Court needs to think about what is really happening in the world. Because of the internet, anonymous sociopaths can now smear and bully anyone they want, and the media has picked up on this. We all know people who make millions of dollars simply by defaming other people. Recently, the actress Katie Holmes filed a $50 million lawsuit against a tabloid paper that told its readers Ms. Holmes is drug-involved. Ms. Holmes may very well lose her suit because it's almost impossible for famous people to prevail in these cases. But Mr. Snyder and his family are not famous people. They're everyday Americans who simply wanted to bury their son in peace. But these animals, these Westboro people, wouldn't allow that. The First Amendment is in place to protect the rights of Americans, but free speech can be abused. Slander is real. Bullying is real. Inflicting pain on others through words is real. But the Supreme Court does not seem to get that. With the rise of the net, cowardly sociopaths are running wild with hateful invective, outrageous smears, and bullying tactics that have caused some children to commit suicide. The Supreme Court needs to wise up. It's not just about free speech anymore. It's about personal destruction. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction. With us, attorney and Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly, who covered the Supreme Court for 3 years. Now, you predicted this, I have to say. You predicted the Supreme Court would rule on the side of the Westboro loons.
I thought they had a strong argument.
Right. But I have Alito's dissent here. It's a stronger argument than Roberts. I'm sorry. It's stronger. Did you read them both?
Yeah, I did. 8-1 is
I got
a decisive verdict.
I got it. But let's just go on Alito versus Roberts. Who's got the stronger argument here?
The majority does. Bill, it's clear. I know, listen, we've been arguing from the beginning on this case, and every time I feel the need to say, I don't like what these Westboro
Nobody
Baptist
likes what they
are doing.
do.
And they're not Baptist, by the way, just FYI. They're not a church. It's like 11 people who are all related to each other. But I do like the First Amendment, and the Supreme Court has a long history of vigorously upholding the tenets of the First Amendment.
Answer a few questions, because I just strongly disagree with you. I really do. Alito, in his dissent, points out that the Westboro haters singled out Matthew Snyder and the Snyder family. They went there specifically to hate them. No. And this is what that's what Alito says. Alito points to, on the internet, the Westboro site, they put up, Snyder's a Catholic. Snyder's, they get into the family's personal life. They get into all kinds of personal issues. This was personal attack.
No, it wasn't.
You're saying Alito doesn't know what he's talking about?
First of all, the internet piece of the case was not considered because the family neglected to preserve it for appeal. So while that's anecdotal in the opinion, that's all it is. What this case was about was the conduct of the Westboro Baptist Church at the funeral.
Alito saw what was on the internet. Alito saw it.
But that wasn't part of the case. They didn't consider what was on the internet. But even if they did, Bill, even if they did, what the court looked at was what the overall message was. And they said, yes, there were some attacks on Private Snyder. But the overall message at this funeral protest, as at everyone before and everyone since, has been this ridiculous message you mentioned in the talking points about how they hate gays, God allegedly hates gays, and the military for being tolerant towards gays is bad, and that's why our soldiers die overseas. The Westboro Church had been making that point for years, and that was the point they were making at Matthew Snyder's funeral as well. It was a matter of public concern. That's why this is relevant, because speech on matters of public concern gets more protection than speech on matters of private concern.
Okay, so public concern, you got to be kidding me here.
Public concern
you gotta be kidding me
is don't ask, don't tell in the military, or gays in the military, gays in general.
They weren't.
Private concern is I go online and I just publish your credit report. I say, here's Bill O'Reilly's.
All right, Alito investigated this case, and he found out. He saw what the Westboro people did, and I'm saying to you, I don't know what the technicality is here, but this whole case was wrapped up by the Westboro people on their website. And they specifically said, we targeted Snyder family because they are Catholics, because they did certain things with their son.
The fact that there was some personal motivation, some personal direction.
That takes it out of the public arena debate.
It doesn't.
Alito says it does.
And the majority rejects that 8-1, Bill. The majority rejects that 8-1. Listen, this group, like them or not, was offering speech on a matter of public concern, gays, and their treatment by the U.S. military or by the U.S. government. They were in a public place. They were 1,000 feet away from the funeral, and you kept mentioning twice in your talking points about how they had the right to bury their son in peace.
Right.
Bill, they did bury their son in peace.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they
these
did.
guys were out there.
Bill,
they heard them. They saw the coverage afterward.
Afterward.
Come on.
Don't say they saw them. That's
in.
not true. You're misleading. He did not see them. They were 1,000 feet away. Mr. Snyder saw tops of signs a long way away. Never saw what the sign said.
He knew what they were doing.
No, he didn't. He didn't know it related to his son. No, you're making facts up, Bill. That's not.
Did he testify?
These are important facts. He spoke to the fact that the first time he saw that this was about his son and that it was these loons from the Westboro Church was when he saw the TV coverage later that night after the funeral was over.
I think the testimony in front of the jury was he knew there was a demonstration against the military family, and that's why the jurors ruled in his favor. The jurors ruled in his favor.
They considered the internet stuff as well. No, Bill, you're wrong.
Oh, you can't consider the internet. See, I think it's all tied into one thing.
They didn't preserve it on appeal.
They didn't preserve it.
I understand your point, right? People need to be protected at the funerals of their children and so on.
Yeah.
But they can be. States like Maryland, where this happened, have since passed laws that restrict where you can do the protesting. They weren't in place when this happened. Now people like Mr. Snyder are better protected.
I don't like loopholes, and I think this whole internet thing tied in.
Do you like the First Amendment?
Because I love the First Amendment. I make my living on it.
Do you like people being able to go protest outside of abortion clinics?
In a certain way, but not.
Do you want to see the government shutting down Muhammad cartoons?
I wouldn't want them to follow somebody home from the abortion clinic, and get in their face. No. Then I wouldn't want that.
Right. They didn't do that.
Yeah, they did. They followed them home through the internet.
Bill.
Okay? The internet changes everything, and you don't get it, neither does the Supreme Court.
You don't understand the
First
Amendment.
One more thing. Yeah, you don't get the internet intrusion. Now, one more thing. The Snyder family still has to pay the court costs, right?
Yeah,
okay.
They do.
My offer to the Snyder family stands. I will pay those court costs. I just want everybody to know that.
You're a
All right, Megan, thanks very much. We appreciate it.